You wake up every morning, thinking you know yourself. You tell yourself that you understand your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. After all, you are you. How could there be anything more to know? But then, sometimes, a dream, a fleeting thought, or a strange, inexplicable feeling grips you. It feels foreign, yet oddly familiar, as if something beyond your conscious mind is influencing your every move, shaping your perceptions of the world, and even the very way you see yourself. What if I told you that you don't know yourself as well as you think? What if I told you that hidden deep within you is a vast, shadowy realm, a part of your psyche that is not solely yours, but shared by every human being who has ever lived? Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, would argue that the very nature of who you are is not just the sum of your experiences, memories, and individual thoughts. You are part of something far larger, far more ancient than you could ever fathom. Jung's concept of the collective unconscious suggests that beneath your personal unconscious, there exists a deeper layer of the mind, one that connects you to all of humanity. This part of your psyche carries with it the echoes of our shared history, the archetypes and symbols passed down through generations, woven into the very fabric of your being. At first glance, this idea may seem absurd. How could something so universal be contained within you, deep down, beneath your conscious awareness? And yet, Jung believed this hidden world within us shapes much of our thoughts, behaviors, and even the patterns of our dreams. To truly understand who you are, Jung would say, you must confront the fact that you are not merely an individual, isolated from others, but rather a vessel for humanity's collective past, present, and future. The collective unconscious is a realm that transcends personal experience. It is not something you develop through your life, but something you inherit. It exists outside the realm of your waking consciousness, like a vast, ancient river flowing beneath the surface of your everyday mind. It is composed of archetypes, universal symbols, images, and patterns that have been repeated throughout human history, across all cultures and all time periods. These archetypes, Jung argued, are not mere cultural constructs or learned behaviors. They are instinctual patterns embedded in the collective psyche, passed down from generation to generation. They form the basis of myths, legends, and religious stories. The hero's journey, the wise old man, the mother, the shadow. These are not just characters in stories or aspects of your personality. They are reflections of the collective unconscious, archetypes that arise from the deep well of human experience. But here's the catch. While the collective unconscious holds vast, timeless wisdom, it is not something that is easily accessible. It is buried beneath the layers of your personal consciousness, hidden in the depths of your psyche. And this, perhaps, is where the real tragedy begins. You see, we live in a world that encourages us to focus solely on the conscious mind, the part of us that thinks, reasons, and functions in the everyday world. We are told that we are individuals, that our thoughts are ours alone, that we control our destinies through logic and willpower. But in doing so, we ignore the deeper currents flowing beneath us, the collective unconscious that shapes our worldview in ways we cannot begin to understand. Jung's work forces us to confront the uncomfortable reality that much of who we are is not purely individual. The thoughts that seem so uniquely ours, the fears, the desires, the dreams, are often influenced by the collective unconscious, by the images and symbols that have been passed down through the ages. You may think you are simply pursuing your own happiness, but you may actually be following a pattern as old as humanity itself. Take, for example, the concept of the shadow. The shadow is an archetype of the collective unconscious that represents the darker, hidden side of the self. It is the part of you that you suppress, the aspects of your personality that you deem unacceptable or undesirable. But what if I told you that your shadow is not just a personal flaw? It is a reflection of a universal human experience, a part of the collective unconscious that everyone carries within them. The darker aspects of yourself are not only your burden, they are a reflection of the struggle faced by all of humanity. By acknowledging your shadow, By confronting those aspects of yourself that you would rather ignore, you are not just doing personal work. You are engaging with a much larger, more universal process. You are linking your personal experience to the shared struggle of humankind, tapping into a deeper, collective wisdom that has existed for millennia. And in doing so, you begin to understand that the person you see in the mirror is not just an individual. It is a microcosm of humanity, shaped by forces far beyond your control. But this is not all. The collective unconscious is also home to other archetypes, such as the anima and the animus, the feminine and masculine aspects of the psyche that exist within both men and women. These are not merely gendered constructs. They are reflections of the broader archetypal forces that shape all human beings. By integrating these aspects of the self, we not only become more whole as individuals, but also connect with the deep, unconscious wisdom that resides within all people. Yet, even in understanding these aspects of the collective unconscious, we are faced with a bitter truth. The more we uncover, the more we realize how little control we have over our own lives. For in understanding the collective unconscious, we see that our thoughts and actions are not purely our own. They are shaped by patterns and forces beyond our comprehension. This realization can be overwhelming. It strips us of the comforting illusion that we are entirely in charge of our destinies, that we are masters of our own fate. In truth, we are not. We are at the mercy of these archetypal forces, of the collective unconscious that influences everything from the stories we tell to the way we see ourselves in the world. We are part of a much larger, much older pattern, a pattern that we cannot escape. But even in this realization, Jung offers a kind of hope. For the more we recognize the influence of the collective unconscious on our lives, the more we understand that it does not have to control us. Through awareness, we can begin to integrate these unconscious aspects of ourselves, bringing the shadow, the anima, the animus, and other archetypes into our conscious awareness. In doing so, we become more whole, more authentic, and more connected to the broader human experience. The integration of the collective unconscious is not a simple task. It requires facing the darkness within, confronting the fears and desires that we have long buried. It means looking at the world and seeing not just the surface, but the deep, archetypal forces that govern it. It is a process of self-transformation, one that requires humility, courage, and a willingness to face the unknown. In the end, Jung's concept of the collective unconscious forces us to question the very nature of our individuality. It forces us to recognize that we are not isolated beings, acting solely on our own free will. Instead, we are part of a larger, more mysterious web, connected to every person who has ever lived, sharing in the same ancient symbols, the same fundamental human struggles. We may think we are simply living our lives, but we are, in fact, living out the archetypal dramas of human existence, played out over and over again through time. The real tragedy is not that we are unaware of the collective unconscious. It is that we are so often blind to its influence. We chase after our own desires, our own fleeting goals, unaware that we are being shaped by forces beyond our comprehension. But by confronting the collective unconscious, by acknowledging the archetypes that reside within us all, we can begin to step out of the shadows of ignorance. We can begin to live more consciously, more fully, and perhaps, just perhaps, begin to understand ourselves as part of something far greater than we ever imagined.